Hi everybody, it's Wrong Guy 922. Fucking psychopath. I'm sorry, but I am such a fucking fan of this anime that I can't contain myself. Now, unfortunately, kill me with a shotgun. Shame on you, spoiling me with that information during a live stream. Yeah, Psychopath, episode 22, final episode. I hate to see it go, though. I am really upset. I hate to see it go. Really do. This had to be one of my favorite animes, not only to review, but to watch. I was glued with this show. Glued! This show had me by the balls. Literally had me by the balls. It was amazing. Now, the name of it, and I might as well just say, the name of this episode was A Perfect World. And here's the thing. Most animes that end, you look at the ending and you say to yourself, oh, that ending sucked. However, I'm going to say it right now. This gets a 5 out of 5. And the ending, good. No, the ending was great. I liked it. I liked the way they went. There could have been 2 options they do for the ending besides that one. And that probably would have sucked. That would have sucked big time. Big time. Big time. So yeah. Alright, let's get into this. Perfect World, episode 22. Final episode of... At the end of the video, I will give my overall rating for this fucking anime. Now, in the beginning, we got Makishima. Makishima and Kogami. Oh, damn, that was so fucking epic. They were just, using knives and fighting each other with knives. There's this one scene where they're like going at each other, and they're like... I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. So that's the beginning of the episode. That's what happened pretty much. They have a little small talk here and there about him saying, you're just like me. Makishima was basically saying how him and Kogami are similar. And so on and so forth. And the fight gets intense. I was like, just going back and forth with their knives. And you're just pushing each other in the heads, like forcing. There was this one scene where Makishima looked vicious. Just, damn, it was awesome. And eventually what happens is, and they were doing a little dialogue between each other about, what have you. And he was saying how, he abandoned his friendship, his trust, everything to, this. And as they're fighting, eventually what happens, out of nowhere, almost out of nowhere, a grenade shows up. Well, it was a grenade and it just blew up and this electricity comes out of nowhere. And who shows up? AKANE. Now, AKANE tells him to freeze. She's got the, Dominator and everything. And basically, and here's what I find to be stupid. She decides... Now, I was thinking, oh man, this bitch is going to go after Makishima by herself. What are you thinking? No. She decides to take Kogami with her. And basically what they're going to do is... They're going to... She's giving him the Dominator. That's set on the Paralyzer. And... he's going to shoot it at Makishima and kill him. Well, not kill him, paralyze him. So, and she tells him, if you do anything else, I'm going to shoot you in the foot. And I was like, what? I was like, she's going in on that. And pretty much that's what goes down. And they go in the hunt, and they're going through, and they're talking about AKANE and, Kogami. AKANE is basically saying that it is us, we the people who protect the law. And that's what she says. And she says that killing him is murder, and she doesn't want that to happen. So on and so forth. Then they go, basically, they're going through these, they're not tunnels, they're in the area where there's trucks and shit. And they're, looking for him, and everything. And eventually, they have their backs against each other, and all of a sudden, this truck pulls up, they're here, and the truck comes this way, and they jump out of the way, and AKANE gets on the truck, and is, on the truck and going down the road, and Makishima is in the truck driving it. Thing about it was, though, he was stabbed by Kogami. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, it's not a big wound. No, he was stabbed. He was stabbed. So he was hurting. And he wasn't really, Makishima, chances are, he would have fainted. When I think about it now, he would have fainted eventually. That was a deep wound he had, that Kogami gave him. So while she's on the truck in the back, she's holding on, she aims the gun that Kogami had, which was the 6-shooter, at the front wheel of the truck, and she shoots it. The truck spins, flips over, and she falls to the ground. At that point, that was the mistake. That was the mistake for AKANE. And it sounds silly, but if he wasn't in that truck and she shot the wheel earlier and found a way to balance herself, it might have been a different scenario, but the truck flipped over, she fell on the ground, and she was out of it. And that's when he was about to shoot her, Makishima. And he's saying to her, why don't you leave me alone? Why don't you just, And then after that, he doesn't shoot her, he just walks away. And Kogami shows up. Because she was knocked out and she was hurt from that collision, she couldn't stop Kogami at that point. And basically, he takes all the bullets out of the gun and reloads it and leaves and says, this is between me and him. And she's like, no, Kogami, and she's screaming his name and everything. And we just have this interesting scene then between Kogami and Makishima. And Makishima, he's stuttering. And he says something interesting when he gets to this hill. He says he couldn't bear it that anyone else kills him but Kogami. And he finally gets up the hill and he's standing up there, and Kogami's right behind him. And I'm like, I forgot what Makishima said something during this scene. And then basically Kogami took the gun, pointed at him in the back of his head. And then that's when we have this dialogue with AKANE. And she's crying and she's upset that it seemed like this was going to happen regardless. And that's what ended on happening. And then after that, I thought to myself, oh shit, Kogami's dead. He's going to be, Then I watched the rest of the episode, and after that, basically what happened was she talks to the fucking Sibley system about it, and her response was, boss, give it up for AKANE, man. She was boss at the end. She was saying, what she said, actually. She said, we humans are more smart than that, and we will create our own better society, basically. And she says that there is no future for you. And it was funny how they did this scene, because after that, you hear laughter from the Sibley system, which I found very weird. And then she leaves and she says, we'll keep, and then the Sibley system telling her, we'll keep evolving, more or less. And that's when we go to a grave. It's not Gino, it's Ginozo. And he's in front of a grave, which seems to be more or less his father's grave. And he's talking about how I found a different path from that you suggested to me, and so on and so forth. And he says, Dad, I was very touching. And then he goes back to, he's an enforcer now. Pretty much. And that I had a feeling was going to happen. That I knew was going to happen. So then him and AKANE, basically AKANE now is the inspector and he's the enforcer. I just laugh at that. I laugh at it because it's so fucking funny. I find it so funny. In the beginning, he was the inspector. Now he's the enforcer. I find it so funny. I don't know why. So anyway, while in the car, they're going back and she's asking Ginozo where Kogami is. And I was like, oh, he escaped. He didn't get arrested. And I was like, okay. All right, this is awesome. This is fucking awesome. I liked it because it was like him going, and he was like saying how he's unchained now. He's no longer a dog. He's out there in the wild, and so on and so forth. And this was an interesting end because she's obviously an inspector now, and we also see another scene with Yayoi and the one from the lab, and they're talking briefly about, Makishima, about Kogami, all that stuff. And then we see a scene where it's so cold. Again? AKANE and Ginozo, and the newcomer who's going to be part of the, so it's like a changing of the guard. New person coming in, and that's where it ends, except we get one more scene. And it's at the very end of the episode where we see somebody and they put down this book and a cigarette. But you don't see who it is. Who knows? My money is it's a Kogami. I believe it's Kogami. I don't see it being anyone but him. And that's pretty much what happened, people. 5 out of 5. Now, overall, I have this to say. The ending was good. The ending was good. I'm going to say right now, it was a good ending. What would have fucking sucked is if Kogami died, or we saw him die, or if he went back with Kogami. That's the way I look at it. This is good, because now it's like he's away from that, and he'll fight crime on his own. It's better that way. So, it's really better that way.
So cold. Why do you say that? So cold.
What was I going to say? Oh, now, overall, that was my parents. As far as a rating is concerned, overall, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I would give it higher, though. I want to, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. What's missing for it to be perfect, is probably if the fight, if it was more suspenseful, the ending, the whole series as a whole. But I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. This series has gripped me so that I couldn't let go. It would not let me go. So overall, 9 out of 10. This series is fucking awesome. You guys need to check it out. Psychopaths. Kogami for the motherfucking win. Makishima for the motherfucking win. And AKANE. Yeah, her too. This was an overall great series, and I think everybody should go check it out. Go check it out. Right now. And this was a great ending. Couldn't script it better than myself. Okay? So yeah, it's been Bonkai 922. It's going to really miss these Psychopaths reviews. I'm going to miss it. But Attack on Titan's on its way, so that's something to keep me occupied. Awesome episode. Awesome series. Go check it out. What are you doing staying here? Get the fuck out. Go check it out now. Awesome. See ya.